In my role as a therapist in the NHS, one of the most common issues I discuss every single day is the issue of anxiety. A lot of people today use the word anxiety in place of other words, such as nervous and worried. But in psychology, we know that anxiety is much more than just another emotion. Anxiety is a physiological response that's been around for over 2 million years. In this video, we'll be discussing where it all started with the 3 Fs, fight, flight, and freeze, why anxiety is often considered a negative thing in life, why anxiety is still around today, why it's slightly different today, and how we treat it with therapy. Let's go. The earliest cavemen were concerned with two things: surviving and reproducing. The cavemen that were able to survive the dangers of their time were more able to do so because they could call upon the response of fight, flight, or freeze, depending on the situation. Now, I'll make a separate video digging into those three responses a bit more in the future, but the main thing to know is that if a caveman was able to fight off a threat, such as another caveman, run away from a threat, say a group of cavemen, or if they were able to freeze in place so that that threat wouldn't notice them, they survived, which meant they had babies, which meant whatever part of their brain which made them more anxious, more able to protect themselves from threats, got passed on in the genes to their offspring. And that continued all the way to where we are today. Now, in the second part of this video on what is anxiety, we're going to look at why we consider anxiety today as a negative thing, and why a lot of people feel it's something that they should be avoiding. Now, this negativity is due massively to the way that our body feels as it gets ready to fight, flight, or freeze. When your brain thinks you're in a dangerous situation, it releases two chemicals, adrenaline and cortisol. These chemicals act on your body to get you ready to face whatever threat it is it thinks you're dealing with. Those chemicals work together to make our heart beat faster, meaning blood can get to our muscles, but it also causes us to breathe deeper and to breathe quicker, meaning that the blood is oxygenated and can be used for action. However, if you're in a situation where it's not appropriate to fight, flight, or freeze, such as an exam or interview, this change in your heartbeat and increase in your breathing alongside one of the other anxiety body signs, such as feeling nauseous, shaking, sweating, can feel so bad for us that of course it feels natural to avoid whatever situation made us feel that way in the first place. And that's why we view anxiety so negatively, because of how it makes us feel. And it's probably ruined whatever situation it was that we were in at that time. I should say at this time it is so important that we don't allow fear of these body feelings to dictate our behaviour. As in psychology, we know that only increases the chances that the same things will happen time and time again if we're ever in similar situations in the future. But that's for a different video. If you've made it to this point in the video, thank you so much. This is the first proper video I've done for this channel with editing, music in the background, daft wee lights behind me. So if you're enjoying it, please drop a like so that more people get it into their YouTube feeds, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future. Now let's think about anxiety today. Should we do whatever we can to get rid of anxiety altogether? The answer is an overwhelming, big Scottish no. We don't want to get rid of anxiety because it's there to keep us safe. The example I always use in sessions with patients is that of the dodo bird. The dodo bird evolved in an island where it had no predators, so there was never any need for that anxiety response in the brain to be developed. That meant when hungry sailors arrived on their island, all the dodo birds just waddled on over because they had no concept of fear. So obviously it wasn't too long until they were all extinct. All because they didn't know how to survive because they had no anxiety. Today for us, anxiety is that thing that kicks in when you step out into the road, you see a car and you jump back without even thinking about it. Or when a child thinks about wandering off from a parent but doesn't just because of that feeling of it's not safe. However, anxiety also kicks in today for emotional dangers, such as feeling judged by a group, or when we're worried that we won't achieve what we want to achieve in life. Sadly, this is our brain getting it wrong, as fight, flight, freeze isn't appropriate for these situations. In fact, it can make it so much worse for us, because not only now are we dealing with these horrible body feelings, we're more likely to do something that makes the situation much worse for ourselves and others involved in it. Which brings me back to what I said at the start. Anxiety is one of the most common mental health issues I work with every single day. If anxiety is impacting on your quality of life, then that's where therapy can come in, with the most common treatment being cognitive behavioural therapy, or CBT. This is where we break down situations that make you feel anxious into what thoughts go through your mind about the situation, how those thoughts make you feel emotionally, which of the body signs are you feeling in your body at this time, and what are you doing? How is your behaviour changing because of these thoughts, the emotions and the body feelings. CBT is about targeting one of these things, usually the thoughts or the behaviours, and giving the patient tools to challenge these thoughts or behaviours in the hopes of making the overall situation better. So thank you for watching this very first proper video on the channel all about anxiety. If you want to see more videos related to mental health and psychology, please subscribe, please drop a like so more people get to see the video. Thank you for tuning in to What the Psych. I'll see you in the next one.